I'm being hired right now because of an emergency, just because they really need people. I felt like I was in high school again. To take my badge, this job is bullshit. Hey guys, it is me, Denise, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna go ahead and talk about my experience working at Walmart. I have a bunch of questions under that video about like working there, so I decided I'm gonna answer all of them in this video. Not only am I gonna answer the questions that you guys left on that video, but I'm going to just talk about the hiring process, like the schedule, all that. Like I'm gonna just talk about all of that and just like my overall experience and how I ended up getting fired, or just how I just don't work there anymore. I had graduated high school 2020 and I was looking for a job, so I was like, you know what, Walmart seems like the easiest job. So I went ahead and did the application online. It is super easy. Just search up my Walmart career or something and then you could apply there. So the application was super easy. I had passed it. So they took forever to call me. They took about like 2 months, to be honest. If you're struggling to get hired, I would just say keep calling them and keep calling them. They may have you on hold for a really long time, just because like the call goes directly like to the store, and then from the store they transfer you to like downstairs to like management or whatever. So it's really unorganized. That's one thing, is that Walmart is really unorganized. So just be really patient. If they haven't called you back, just keep calling, keep, you know, being like, I want to know what's going on with the status of my application. They finally called me and then I went to my interview. It was the easiest interview of my life. Again, this was my first job interview. This was my first job in general. So I was really nervous, but I got this really nice lady and she just basically asked me how I was in high school, like how I am as a person, and that's it. She knew it was my first job, so she didn't give me any difficult questions about customer service. And then after that, she was like, well, I'm gonna offer you the job. And then they sent me to the office and they kind of just made me sign paperwork and stuff. I got hired in the midst of like the whole pandemic. They basically made me sign a contract that said that they don't have to keep me over 6 months, like, but they can. So like I was basically hired as like seasonal, I guess, because of the pandemic. Basically just saying that like I'm being hired right now because of an emergency, just because they really need people. So I think that's why I didn't do any training. So usually when you get hired, they have you like train on the computer and stuff. I did not have to do any of that. I just went straight to the floor because again, they just really needed people to work. That was pretty much the hiring process. It was really easy. And I got hired for online grocery pickup, OGP, which is by far the best department like in Walmart. So if you guys are looking for a really easy job, I would recommend OGP. Asked about that department because my sister worked in that department and she said it was really easy. My mom was a cashier and my mom hates being a cashier, so she was like, you know what, just go into online grocery pickup. So I had asked for that position in my interview and the lady was so nice and she was like, yeah, like let me see if there's space, and then she did me a favor and just put me in there. The manager of online grocery pickup wasn't looking for anybody from what I know of, so I really just came into the department super random. Okay, so I got hired in, I believe, October I got hired. It was going pretty good. The first few weeks were really easy. I was mainly in the back room. So there's a back room for online grocery pickup, there's the back room, and then there's the kiosk in the front, or at least at my store. I'm talking about my experience and like how my store was. But there's a back room, so that's like curbside, where you prep the orders for the cars and then you take them out and put them in the people's cars. And then there's the kiosk. So like the first 2 months or first month, I was in the back dispensing is what it's called. So basically taking out the orders into the people's cars. So being in the back wasn't too bad, but I would admit that it was a little heavy on my body. They would have us like carry out 10 totes. Sometimes we would be having to carry out like 10 totes of like groceries all by ourselves, like 3 freaking water, like 40 packs of water bottles, like all by myself. Like it was just kind of heavy on my body, to be honest. I was getting a lot of back pain just because it was really hard on my body just taking out heavy groceries and stuff. But I would never complain about it. I would just do my job. When it was only like 6 totes, like 6 boxes of groceries, the job wasn't that bad. It was like easy and I didn't mind it. But when it was like tall ass grocery orders and it was just by myself and I had to drag it all the way back to the parking lot, like that shit was so hard, you guys, and my back would hurt so bad. And customers aren't able to tip us which I think is unfair because it's honestly a lot of work on your body. Like that shit is really heavy and like I would be so freaking tired. But again, it was my job, so I was just doing what I had to do. And then eventually they had me picking. So an online grocery pickup, there's dispensing and picking. So picking is when you're walking around the store with a blue cart and you scan the items and just put it in each tote. That is the most easiest position ever. So that was just really easy. It was just a bunch of walking around. Like you walk so much, but it is so light, to be honest. You're just walking around, scanning items, putting in the totes. So really easy. Customers do come up to you a lot and like try to ask about where certain items are, but honestly I like talking to people, so that was never an issue for me. I liked helping people out. The first 3 months I think it was pretty just simple. I was dispensing, I was picking. Like when I went into work, I would just mind my business. I would only talk to my sister Jasmine, to be honest, just because I'm kind of shy when it comes to making like friends and stuff. I was never rude or anything though. I never treated anybody with like disrespect. I just kind of went there and did my thing. But once I hit like 3 months, there was this coworker of mine that didn't like me, and I didn't know that she didn't like me until later on. Once it was the 3 months, I found out that this girl didn't like me, and I decided to just ignore it, and it is what it is. Like not everyone is gonna like you, so I would just try to ignore this coworker. But one day we had a work group chat, and this is, you know what, this is what really I think messed everything up, was having like a work group chat. So in that group chat, the girl basically called me a bitch. And she didn't mean to call me a bitch in that group chat. She meant to send it to a separate group chat that she had with other coworkers in the department. So she literally sent to the wrong group chat, the one I'm in. She was like, oh, Denise and blank are bitches. And I saw the message. A few others saw the message, and I screenshotted it. Kind of started like a little argument in the group chat. She was just kind of low-key an instigator. Like I would never say anything about her, but she was always talking bad about me, or she was always kind of making me feel uncomfortable. I just, once she sent that message to the group chat, I screenshotted it and I let my manager know that I was uncomfortable around this person. Since then, I was just trying to keep my distance from this girl, and I was just not trying to associate myself with her because she obviously didn't like me. So anytime she was in the back room, I would just try to leave and go pick, or anything she was picking, like I would just make sure just to keep my distance from her. But she did not like me at all, for no freaking reason. Like, story of my freaking life. So she did not like me. And oh, when I confronted my manager about the situation, all he said was, oh, well, I could switch you departments. Like that's basically what he told me, that he would switch me departments if I wanted to, which I thought was kind of unfair considering I didn't do anything wrong. Like she's the one who was kind of bullying me, but whatever. Like I just decided to ignore it and be the bigger person, because obviously I didn't want to switch departments. I was happy with the work that I was doing, and I feel like I was doing a really good job, and I would bust my ass off. Anyways, so that's the first incident that happened, and that just kind of just made me really uncomfortable, because she talked to other coworkers. She had her little group in the department, and I just felt like her and her friends didn't like me, and it was just starting to feel like high school. But again, it was my job. I was there like every day, so I just decided to ignore it. So I got hired as part-time, but that's literally BS. I was working like 40 hours plus overtime because everyone was getting freaking COVID in that department. I swear to God, everybody in my store had gotten COVID, especially my department. It was hit the worst, and everyone in my department literally almost got COVID. We had to get COVID testing every single like week or 2 weeks because there were so many cases in our department. And not just our department, our store. So like I said, I was hired as part-time, but I was getting 40 plus hours because it was around the holidays. Like this is already like December, November. The holidays were freaking crazy. I was so tired. The store was annoying because they told us that we can't do any overtime. Like we weren't allowed to do overtime, but yet we were short-staffed and the work had to be done. It was kind of annoying. Like we weren't supposed to do overtime, but they would kind of make us do overtime. Like they would ask us to stay just because the work wasn't done. There were plenty of times that my manager had to jump in on the work because we were really short-staffed. Like people again were leaving because of COVID, and it was just crazy. And tell me why my manager was not hiring new people throughout the whole freaking holidays. Like, it's like he chose for us to struggle. Like, he could have gotten other people from other departments, like he could have pulled more people, but no, like we were struggling. And this is what kind of stresses me out about the whole situation of how I got fired, because through like the freaking holidays I was working my ass off, you guys. Like, I was giving this Walmart job a little bit too much of my energy, but you know what, lesson learned, never again, because these minimum wage jobs do not care about you. So holidays were crazy. I was getting 40 plus hours. I mean, my paycheck was coming out really good. I was getting paid $14.25 in the beginning. Eventually I got up to $15.25, I believe, and the checks were good. That's one thing for sure. My checks were really good. Work just felt really heavy because we were really short staffed, and that was probably like the biggest issue, because the store was just really unorganized, and this goes for every department. I know as cashiers, they're always low on cashiers. They only have like 3-4 cash registers open because people call off, and I just feel like they just don't get new people. Or when I was there, they weren't getting new people. I don't really know, but when I was working there, they were choosing to struggle, and like no one was getting hired, and we had to do like triple the work. We got 2 new associates in our department. So these 2 new associates have already worked in the store literally their whole freaking life, bro. Like, since that store had opened, they've been there. I don't associate myself with nobody unless I have to. So I didn't even know them. I wasn't even talking to them. I never struck a conversation with them. But when these 2 girls got there, I think we have gotten like them 2 and maybe like one more new associate. At this point, they had taught me how to do the kiosk. So I was already doing the kiosk for maybe like the last 2 months that I was working there. I was just at the front. So they taught me how to do express, which is like Postmates orders that you do inside the store. They taught me just how to work the whole front. So at the kiosk, there's usually only 2 people there. Nobody was there. Like, everyone was taking leaves. So they had taught me how to be there, and I was there for a really long time. Eventually, when the people got back, I was still working at the front, so I wasn't really in the back anymore. And I was picking, but there was a time, like the last month that I was working there, I was literally only in the front. Like, the whole freaking day I was only in the front. These 2 girls come into the department and they want to act like they roll the place or whatever, but I didn't really care because I was never in the back. I was always in the front. So one reason why I liked being in the front was because I was only with one other person. I wasn't with all my freaking coworkers in the back. So my issue with the first girl when I had just started was a reason why I liked being in the front, because I was away from her and then her friends, and I just didn't really like being around my coworkers too much because I felt like there was always an issue. So I just liked being in the front because it was kind of away from everybody, and I was only with one of my coworkers I actually liked talking to. I probably liked like 3 of my coworkers, and I was busting my ass, okay? Like, I was working hard. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a pretty hard worker. Was I killing myself for the job? No, not really. I was being kind of realistic here. It's Walmart. The managers were unorganized and the customers were pretty rude sometimes, so I wasn't gonna kill myself for this job, but I was a pretty hard worker. I would get everything that I had to do done, and I made sure that it was done, so I was doing my job. So the 2 girls I told you guys that moved into my department, I guess they didn't like me either, of course. I never really knew that until I basically got fired. 2 girls didn't like that I was always in the front. They had an issue with me being in the front. I guess because they think being in the back is harder than being in the front. So this sounds very childish, I know. It sounds very high school drama. But they just didn't like that I was in the front, okay? They thought I was being lazy in the front, but they didn't even know what I was doing in the front because they were in the back. So one day I was in the back, my break, and I took 25 minutes. Let me tell you guys, every single Walmart employee takes past a 15-minute break. Like, trust me, everybody like does it. So I was already annoyed, my back was hurting, and I took a 25-minute break. I go ahead and start heading upstairs, and I hear one of the girls call me and say, hey, like, can I get Denise back to OGB? Denise back to OGB. That day I only had like a 4-hour shift, so I finished what I had to do, and then I'm like, well, I'm gone. I only have a 4-hour shift, so I'm gonna leave. They start talking shit in the group chat. So in that little group chat that I was talking about, the girls started basically complaining and saying that they work really hard and they're tired of picking up other people's slack, and that there are lazy people in the department. They don't want to be doing extra work, but they have to because we're lazy. And they just started talking shit, and everyone just in that group chat started basically going off on who wasn't working. There's even another girl, I'm not even lying, three, 4 girls ganged up on me. But there was another girl. This girl's grown. She's like, they're all grown, bro. They're all like 30, I think, years old. Like, they're almost 30 at least. I ended up responding to the group chat and saying, why is everybody like so mad? Like, what's the issue here? Like, why are you guys so pressed? Like, why is this even a conversation in the group chat right now? And then they kind of all attacked me and were like, oh, well, you don't do shit. Oh, well, you don't work. Oh, well, you're lazy. Oh, well, you're always in the front. And I just started defending myself and basically defended myself and said that I do work. You don't see what I do because you're not around me. And I mean, I didn't like being around them for that exact reason, because they're a little toxic. So they can't see me work if they're not around me, you know. So they didn't really know, but it was just kind of this whole scandal. And I didn't want to go to work the next day because I felt really uncomfortable, but I just went. And tell me why one of my coworkers, like one of the coworkers that I like, tells me, oh yeah, like they were talking about you in the morning, like they were talking about the whole incident in the morning. Why? Like, why are they making it a big deal? So I just felt really uncomfortable that they were continuing to talk about me, but behind my back now, to other coworkers. And I just felt like everybody in the department kind of knew what happened, because obviously they were in the group chat, but it just became like it was like an issue. And obviously I didn't want there to be an issue, but it's like they all had an issue with me. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna stay in the front the whole day, because like I usually do, because I really just don't want to go back there and be around them, because they're all freaking toxic and negative. So I was in the front, but of course, some way, somehow, my manager pulls me to the back and tells me that he's gonna basically remove me from being in the front, and he's gonna take off my express option. So my manager takes off basically my obligations of being in the front and tells me to be in the back. Like, me and my manager never had an issue about me being in the front. It just seems kind of like a coincidence that these 2 girls, who are really close to him, may I add that they're really close to him, it just seemed like a coincidence that they started basically talking shit about how I didn't work because I was always in the front. And then the day after, my manager pulls me to the side and tells me that I can't be in the front anymore. So it just seemed like a coincidence, to be honest. It didn't seem like it really made sense. So yeah, so I was in the back now and I was really uncomfortable. This was already 6 months in working, and I had actually was supposed to talk to personnel because my badge was gonna expire. So she was like, oh, we're gonna decide if we're gonna keep you in 5 days or so. So it was just funny how all the timing was going. So I wasn't sure if Walmart was gonna keep me or not, but I really didn't want to work there anymore because these girls were really making me feel uncomfortable, and my manager wasn't doing shit about it because my manager was friends with them. So I just felt really bullied, to be honest, and really uncomfortable. It ended up basically working out in my favor, because after I got moved to the back or whatever, like a day after, I was so unhappy at work. Like, I was so uncomfortable. It was ruining my whole freaking day because I felt like I was in high school again. Like, I didn't have to be surrounded by people that didn't like me when it's a freaking job, when we all are there to work, mind our business, and get our money. A day or 2 after that, I got called into the office and they let me know that they're letting me go because my 6 months are up, and they decided not to keep me. I got let go. The reason why I'm telling you about my coworkers not liking me is because I know for a fact that the reason why they decided not to keep me is because of that incident, and my manager knew that they had issues with me, and that we just weren't getting along, and it was just easier to let me go considering he's friends with them. It was 2 against 1, it was 3 against 1, it was a lot of people against me. But I was like, you know what, take my vest, take my badge, this job is bullshit. That's basically how I got fired. Just to sum it up, there's a lot of favoritism. So that's like one thing I could say about working there, is that there's a lot of favoritism in every freaking department. It's really unorganized. My mom's a cashier, like I said, and what she tells me that goes on in her department is literally the same thing that went on in my department. Yeah, that's pretty much my experience. And that if I never had issues with my coworkers, I feel like it would have been a really cool job, to be honest. I think it would have been the ideal perfect job, but these coworkers were really problematic, so it just didn't work out in my favor. But hopefully it works out in your guys' favor if you're interested in working there, because girl, it did not work for me. So I'm not getting a regular job no more, or I hope I don't know, I'll see. But it was a cool experience, and at the end, like, it was a learning lesson. Yeah, we're on to better and bigger things, but I'm gonna go ahead and answer some questions for you guys. Someone said, what's the starting pay? I think cashiers get paid $13.25, but OGP gets paid $14.25. I don't know about now, this was when I was working there. Someone said, what's the minimum age to work there? I believe it's 16, but because of the pandemic, it was 18 at the time. Someone said, how much do you make an hour? I was making $14.25, but then got moved up to $15.25. Do they let people wear skirts? I'm Christian and want to work there. Okay, so I'm pretty sure they let you wear skirts with leggings under. Does Walmart hire internationals? I have no idea. I wouldn't know, I'm sorry. What's your job position? I was an online grocery pickup associate. Is this cap 1? No, it's not. It's online grocery pickup. How do I get this job? You just go to Walmart career and you go ahead and apply there. Did you have to call them a lot for the job? Yes, like I said earlier, they're really unorganized. Keep bugging them if you really want to work there and you don't get a call back. I applied here 3 weeks ago with no updates. I recently called them but no answer. What should I do? Keep calling them, to be honest. That's like the best advice I could give. Is this the only job you have, and do you live in California? At the time, yes, it was the only job I had besides acting and being a nail tech. Now I'm only an actress and do nails. Is it a hard job? My position wasn't. Now I know it's a little harder just because they added like Postmates and like all these like different like delivery options, so I know it's a little bit more work now, but overall it's probably easier than any other position. Yo, I work at Walmart as a cashier and they say the starting pay was 11, but they're paying me $9 an hour. Is there any reason? I don't know what state you live in. It's definitely not California because that's illegal, but I wouldn't know why your pay is like that, to be honest. Maybe ask personnel. So I was late in the video. And I was late like 20 minutes, and then I told them that I was going to be late 10 minutes, and somebody comments, 10 minutes late isn't fine. You get points if you're 10 plus minutes late. So yes, you do get points if you're if you're late more than 10 minutes. There's a point system, so you get fired if you have like 8 points, I think. 8 or more points. I don't know, you get fired, but that's capped. They'll literally wait until you have like 15, 20 points and then fire you. And then you clear up your points with your PTO. Was it easy to get into Walmart? Because I've passed assessment and stuff, but I haven't got a call back or email. Should my availability be open? Oh yeah, definitely. So when you apply, put your availability for almost everything, to be honest, because it's really hard to get a call back just because they're really unorganized. But just keep calling them and stuff. Someone said if I work with my best friend, we would literally never get any work done. I know, me and my sister, surprisingly, again, we're really hard workers, and we would actually get all our stuff done regardless of being sisters. Is doing this position hard? I'm currently in cap 2 and it's just too much. We have to unload the truck, push carts, pull pallets, stock, clean, etc. No, again, like I said, it's a pretty easy job. Unless you're in the back room dispensing, then it's a little hard on your back, to be honest. Well, for me, because I'm a girl, and like usually when guys would like take out the grocery orders, it didn't seem like much work to them, but for me, girl, it was hard. Did they reduce your hours? This was 2 months ago. Right after the holidays, yes, they reduced my hours a lot. Someone asked, can you do videos on curbside? I have no idea how that works. I would have, you guys. I would have showed you guys, but I got fired, so no, I can't no more. Do more work videos, girl. I can't. I'm fired. Well, let go, okay? I wasn't really fired. Let go. I could reapply if I wanted to, but fuck Walmart. Okay, it's basically like the questions that I'm responding to. But do I recommend working there? Sure, I recommend it if you're a teenager and you're looking for something easy, some quick money. I think the pay is good. I think overall it's a pretty easy job. I would just, my advice to working there would be just really try to mind your business. Just try to go in there with a work mindset and only focus on your job. I did that and it didn't work out in my favor, but you know what, I just have really bad luck when it comes to people. Like, people just feel strongly about me without getting to know me first. Cool first job, it's a cool experience. If you guys need experience for a job, go to Walmart. They literally hire anybody, like anybody, so it's really easy to get the job there. You just have to keep calling them, to be honest. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and like I always say in every video, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.